Now the time has come that we create our very first Flutter project. Now to make sure Flutter is being installed properly, we can just use a command like Flutter version. First open your command prompt and then just write this command and press enter. If you can see any version, then hooray, you have installed it correctly. And if there is any newer versions as well, then also you can see it like a new version of Flutter is available. But right now we will be working with Flutter 2.2.0. If needed later on the videos, we will upgrade it, but not now. So Flutter is properly installed in your system. Now to create a Flutter project, there are two methods or two ways. First is using Android Studio. If you use Android Studio a lot, then you can just go and open Android Studio and install the required extensions for Flutter, because there will be one extension tool in Android Studio as well. You simply have to download or install the Flutter tools. But I don't prefer Android Studio because first of all, it's very it uses a lot of your PC resources. It makes it slower, I guess, because I am a more of a VS Code user or text reader. I prefer US Code. So that's why we will be using VS Code. Make sure you install it in your system. It's very easy. You can just Google it down. Now to create a Flutter project, first go to the folder where you want your first project. Then just open a command prompt there and simply write Flutter create. This is the code, or you can say way to create a new project. And after the create, whatever name you give will be your project name. That is your app name. You can say, obviously, you can change this later on. It's not an issue. We will just simply Flutter tutorial. Tutorial. Okay, click enter. So it will just download and create your Flutter project. If you are seeing all done, that's it. You have done it correctly. Inside the Flutter project, you might see a lot of files which we will discuss now only. But before that, you just open your VS Code, go to File, and just open folder. And here you simply have to open your Flutter project like this. There will be one welcome, just leave it. So here you can see all the folders and files that were present. You have successfully used VS Code. Now, what we will do, we will see more about this folder structure. There are different folders, that is Android, iOS, lib, test, pubspec.yaml, then web. There are a lot of folders and other files. We just have to remember that the Android folder is where Android related files are stored. We don't change it a lot. We will just use it for some things like what will be the icon of your application Android device, what will be the name of the application, or very few things specific to Android or plugins, but not the whole course. Same with the iOS folder. iOS folder is have all the files which will be used to build an iOS application. But we will just do the changes Small changes which are required, not the core code. Now the lib. This lib folder is the main thing. This is the folder which we will use it again and again. This is where we will be working on most of the time. By default, it contains main.dart. This is the entry point of the Flutter application. As I told, we have already seen in the Dart section that the main.dart or the main function is the entry point. If you go and click on main.dart, you will see this main function here same. And definitely there will be other codes as well, and you might get overwhelmed at present, so don't look at those code. Just remember this main function. After that, there is test is where you put that unit testing code for the application. When you are ready, when your application is ready for production, you have to test it a lot of time. Testing is a whole different topic which we won't be covering, because before going to test, you must have a very clean structured Flutter application. And the next and very important file is pubspec.yaml file. This file defines the version and build number of your app. If you see, you will just see this version and all. This will be used when you are publishing your application to any Play Store or iOS store. First uses is this, and then these dependencies. And you might be asking, what are dependencies? We will see and understand it in the next video as well, because dependencies means your application will definitely depend on third party software or library or plugins. This is also very important file, and it should have a separate video to discuss. But just remember, I have skipped other folders and files because most of the time we won't really need to touch them. We only have to work on lib, pubspec.yaml, and little bit on within the Android and iOS folder. So now you have your Flutter application up. It's time to run it in a device. For device, just open Android Studio, because you should have an emulator. And if you don't have a emulator, you can use your physical Android device as well. You just have to make sure you have debugging mode on in your Android device settings. Here, just click on configure AVD manager. Here I have a device. You can also create your virtual device as well. It's very easy. But I have this Pixel 3a API 28. I will just run it. It may take a little bit time. See, your emulator is here. It's a Android device. Now simply what you have to do is in your VS Code, go to main.dart, and in the run, just click on start debugging. And now you have to wait a while, because for the very first time, it will take some time. But you can see it's launching your main.dart on that emulator in debug mode. So this is good. This is working. I just want to say that Flutter is a very awesome tool. It's like it's very easy to understand and easy to work in. And that also you have understood that all the basic concepts in any programming language are the same as in the Dart language. Just remember, when you are using Android Studio, your system might be laggy or it may hang because it uses a lot of your RAM. So you might not use or do any other thing while you are working on an Android emulator because it itself is making your system work very hard, and you don't want your application to crash because your computer or your operating system could not handle it. Yeah, it's showing build outputs Flutter APK app debug.apk. So I hope you know that .apk is the extension of an Android device application. Now, okay, see, you will have this screen where it's like Flutter demo homepage, and in the middle there will be like you have pushed the button this many times, and the button is here. If I click on it, see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it's increasing. So finally, we have our Flutter application running in our emulator. In the next video, we will be talking more about Flutter concepts such as widgets and other thing. For now, I hope you have enjoyed.